Everyone who has a good memory of the character of She-Hulk really does because of John Byrne. His 1980s run was one of the seminal moments in not only She-Hulk, but all of Marvel Comics. It was a lot of fun. The character broke the fourth wall, which they gave reference to at the end of this last episode, but it did it in a way that was fun. It did it in a way that was entertaining. It did it in a way that was cheesecake, and yet still paying homage to the superhero genre. The show, by contrast, which was just released and the finale just came out, is something else. It's saying that superheroes are boring, superheroes are dumb, and we don't want to write that. That's what you get when a room full of woman writers gets together and decides to write a man-based show. Now, we're saying, well, you're probably going, why is She-Hulk a man-based show? The whole concept of like the Hulk and superheroes and all that is a very masculine sort of thing. She-Hulk is a cheesecake woman to look at in that sort of vein and in that sort of space. So when you get a bunch of female writers trying to make Ally McBeal but green, it turns into a disaster. But there's a worse problem with this, guys. It's actually the fact that it's not based on John Byrne's run at all, but it's based on one by Marvel writer Dan Slott. Now, Dan Slott is an SJW already at Marvel. His run is something that on She-Hulk wasn't as bad as the TV show, but it really just kind of ignored John Byrne's run completely, and it went in this direction to begin with. And these women were just copy-pasting the stuff that was going on in that run, which I'm going to detail as we look over the review of the show very shortly. This might be a little bit of a long one, so stay tuned, everybody. I have the best analysis on the internet. I really do. All right. My name is John Delarose. I'm a #1 best-selling author and award-winning comic creator, guys. And I actually know how to write a female lead. The problem that most of these writers get into is they try to write a strong female lead, and they all sound the same. They look the same. They're men with tits, and they just don't work out very well. I write a feminine female lead because I know exactly what femininity is. I actually like it because I like my wife, you know. And it's something that I know how to write, and because I'm a professional writer and I know what I'm doing. So this is Ayla Wren. She's a great character. It's science fiction action adventure. If you like comics, this is 66 pages of fun action. I don't try to subvert tropes or anything like that. I really just go for it, and I try to create an entertaining experience for you because I don't want to be like these writers in these TV shows who are really insulting your intelligence as viewers, telling you what's good and what's not. You're just going to have fun with this book. So check it out. That link's in the description below. It's a great alternative to Marvel. You'll really enjoy it. Thank you guys so much for supporting. All right, She-Hulk Attorney at Law, Episode 9 review. This is John Trent from Bounding Into Comics, my editor. Oh, no, John Trent didn't write it. Jacob Smith, who works with Bounding Into Comics. He runs a YouTube channel called Society Reviews. A really smart guy. I do write for Bounding Into Comics also. And here it is, She-Hulk Attorney at Law, a pointless conclusion to the history's most pointless show. It started out really weird with this like origin where she had to show she's better than the Hulk, she's stronger than the Hulk, everything's better. They even made that as like a joke in the setup. And over the course of this, it's like a whole man-hating slew where she's just acting like a slut, hating life, doesn't want to be a superhero. All the men are terrible. She's smarter than all of them. She's stronger than all of them. She's better than all of them, just as we would have expected out of the show of She-Hulk. So this is what's going on over the course of this. And of course, she's being held down by those toxic masculine people. And here is where it gets really interesting because she rejects being a hero. She really just wants to be Jen the lawyer. Now, this actually doesn't just come out of thin air, and this isn't something that they invented. This comes from Dan Slott's She-Hulk run, which I'm showing you right here. This She-Hulk run was very similar in that they really were trying to pull it away from traditional superhero fights and things like that and just feature the character in a courtroom as she's struggling with She-Hulk. For a large portion of this, like she doesn't even have powers. They're taken away from her over the course of it. And much like this series, as you're going to see how it invalidates itself within a series, so there's no point to having watched it at the end. Same thing happens here. She actually is about to swap bodies with somebody at the very end because that person's from another universe and she doesn't want to be She-Hulk. She just wants to be Jen. They're about to go off into the sunset. Really interesting thing about how these superhero stories and the people who write them are really just anti-superhero. It's like, go do a different genre then. Do something else. Why are you doing this? But this is exactly what we see time and time again. Disney, Marvel hires people who hate the very properties they write. It's bizarre. There's tons of little passive-aggressive jokes about how stupid the superhero genre is, about how stupid superheroes are over the course of this run. Dan Slott is just kind of a bitter guy. He's known as such in the industry. He's very cantankerous. He gets very angry at fans who criticize him and his work on the internet. And he's really known for just really trying to just, I guess, hate his own fans. It's very a bizarre thing. But this is exactly what's going on with She-Hulk here. As Jacob writes, the show outright rejected the idea of being a hero in any capacity, runs complaining against a straw man interpretation of fans who don't think She-Hulk deserves to be one. That's right. They actually address this in here, saying She-Hulk doesn't deserve to be a fan in the show, and she keeps complaining about that. That's a proxy for the fans on the internet who aren't liking the show itself. The same fans who know that Jen was always given her powers by accident, and they were really criticizing the character's non-heroic actions as presented to them by writers. Massive head trauma wouldn't make you this brain dead. But don't worry, folks, the plot of this show doesn't matter, and this is where there's a Deus Ex, just like the Dan Slott run. It's kind of very similar, except for they try to reference the John Byrne thing. Eventually, faced with the mashup of characters and plot lines, Jen decides mid-set piece she doesn't like the way her finale's going. She breaks the fourth wall to have word with her writers. And look, it's a bunch of strong female writers and probably a gay guy. And there you are. Don't even hire women writers to write your show, my friends. Not even once. You know exactly what happens. Making her way to the writer's room, she argues that the show shouldn't follow the same superhero tropes. Gosh, those stupid superhero tropes. We hate them. We hate the fans. And the movies before it only be met by admission she couldn't do anything without Kevin Feige's permission. There it is. Proceeding to take complaints directly to Marvel Studios, Jen then discovers the man is actually a robot named Kevin, and this is the same plot as Dan Slott's thing. There's a robot who's controlling her law firm, who's a secret robot and all that. And knowledge-enhanced visual interconnectivity nexus. Taking a seat next to the machine's control room, the insufferable middle-aged slag begins... Nice writing. This is good writing by Josh. Have completely on-brand narcissistic tirade expressing frustration with Kevin about how she believed the show's side characters were outshining her own story. Super cringy stuff. And eventually, Kevin fast-forwards time, with Jen reappearing to find Todd and the intelligentsia arrested for stealing her blood, whatever. They never say. They're just arrested. Nothing matters. It all ends, and it concludes, and it's stupid. So yeah, this all comes back. All of these plot points really are very beat for beat what Dan Slott did. It's like the women just grabbed the robot point, the anti-superhero point, the law points, took everything fun out of Dan Slott's runs, because Dan Slott's run is like, it's got a few cringy points like that, but it's not that bad overall. But they took what he did and really just like SJW-fied it to the next level to where it just ruined the show of She-Hulk, and that's what we have here. So at the end of the day, my conclusion is She-Hulk sucks, and it's all Dan Slott's fault. And I know he'll watch this, which is the best part. The guy loves searching himself on the internet. Hi, Dan. Like I said, I didn't hate your run that much, but like it is your fault because that was what the source material was drawn off of, and it wasn't a perfect run to begin with, but man, this is really something of a disaster for Disney. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Do you like my analysis? Do you hate it? Either way, I want to hear from you. Hit the like and subscribe button. And of course, if you want an alternative to Disney Marvel, make sure to back Overmind. We got like 40-ish copies left. I've already done the print run. We're shipping them out now. That's in the description below. Thanks, my friends.